Hey everyone, it's Saturday night, it's 6 p.m. Pacific. I know you've reached the end of the internet and here you are joining me for Love Line at Night with Heidi B. I'm thrilled to have you here. Can't wait to wave to you while I'm chatting about the topic tonight. I have two things I want to discuss tonight. I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit first of all. There we go. There are two things I want to talk to you about tonight. The first of which is closure. This is a question I get asked a ton about, and here's why. A lot of times when somebody's going through, oh, hey, Bridget, a lot of times when someone's going through a breakup, whether the relationship has been tumultuous or not, but especially if it's been tumultuous, my suggestion has been to go 30 days no contact. What that means is basically just sending one last communication, whether it's a text or an email, something in writing to say, look, I would like to do 30 days of no contact with you. I will send emails to communicate about logistics, but that is it. So I always suggest sending that kind of finalizing email, and then I suggest blocking the person you're breaking up with on all social media and on your phone as well. And so I always suggest this 30-day no contact rule. It's a great boundary. It gives you a lot of space in order to figure out, in order to just kind of physically and emotionally move away from the relationship. So one of the biggest hurdles that comes up for people when they do engage in this 30-day post-breakup no contact rule is that they often come to me and say oh, but Heidi, I need closure. And listen, people come to me and suggest that, and also I had the experience. So I have been married and divorced, and I'm now remarried. But I remember when I was going through my divorce, I was adamant that even though I was doing a 30-day no contact rule with my now ex-husband, I was just adamant that not only was it important that I make sure that, here's what I was adamant about. I was adamant about getting closure. I felt like I deserved to be able to tell him how hard it was for me, how challenging all of this had been, that it was never my intention for us to end up divorced, and on and on and on. Really, the reason I wanted to get closure with him was so that I could make sure that he knew that I wasn't a bitch, which I was sure that he thought that I was. So I remember one day I was having this meltdown about trying to stick to this 30-day no contact rule, but really feeling like I deserved closure. And I was talking to a therapist about it at the time, and he leaned forward to me and he put his hands together and he put his fingertips under his chin. And he said, Heidi, we don't always get closure. And I just hated that answer. That was the worst. But you know what? It's been true. We don't always get closure. And what I love about that is that if you are going through a breakup and you do a 30-day no contact and you can survive the discomfort of not getting the closure that you think you are entitled to, you will find freedom on the other side of 30 days. I guarantee you it won't even take you the full 30 days to be relieved of whatever obsession you're having with your breakup or with the person that you were having your relationship with. So you get through a breakup so much faster if you can set the boundary around no contact, and then you can keep it without breaking it in order to get closure. And you get the physical and more importantly, the emotional space to process the breakup, to process what was going on for you, and to move through onto the next thing. There's something that's so important about there's something connected between physical and emotional space. It's much easier to get emotional space from something if it is not right in your physical face. So that's a lot of times why, if somebody, if you're having a fight with a loved one, it's always let's just part ways, let's step away, get some space, so get some physical and emotional distance from the intensity of whatever the experience is that you're having. So the first thing that I really, really that's the first thing I really wanted to talk about tonight, the concept of closure and the fact that we don't always get it. The second thing that's on my radar to chat with you all about tonight, oh hey Allie, is this idea of an appreciative relationship. So I was out walking my dogs the other day, and when I walk the dogs, I always listen to any number of podcasts. One of the ones I'm really into right now is a show called The School of Greatness with Lewis Howes. Hey Megs! And I was listening to The School of Greatness with Lewis Howes, and he had on relationship expert Esther Perel. She also has her own show. I think it's called Where Do We Start? Anyway, she was talking about how important it is and how nurturing it is to have a relationship that's held within the context of appreciation. That, as long as that the difficult conversations that you have to have, that you end up having to surface for, that you end up having to talk about, go so much more smoothly within the context of an appreciative relationship. And I really liked that because I often have, so much of social media and, it's called Where Do We Begin? Thank you, Megs. That's what it's called. Esther Perel, Where Do We Begin? That's the name of the podcast. It's amazing. You should also, if you're looking for something new to listen to, she's fantastic. Okay, so why do I think cultivating a culture of appreciation in your relationship or a context of appreciation is important? Because I also run in a world of 12-step recovery and of all kinds of spirituality where gratitude is the cornerstone. And a lot of times it's really easy to give lip service to gratitude. Hashtag blessed, hashtag so blessed, hashtag so blessed. And my personal life, I try to really live in gratitude. So one of my own kind of personal tenets, personal foundational building blocks for me is if I am grateful for something, if I'm willing to give lip service to something I'm grateful for, am I being actionable on my gratitude? So if I'm hashtag so blessed to have a home, am I taking care of it? Is my bed made? Am I doing the laundry? Am I replacing the roof when it needs to be replaced? That kind of stuff. Or if I'm hashtag so blessed to be driving around a car, am I getting the oil changed? Am I maintaining it properly? Am I parking it legally? That's a huge that really is like my last vice, parking illegally. I'm sorry. It's so hard. Okay. So anyway, am I taking care? Am I living in the action of gratitude for the things that I'm actually grateful for? And why that relates to appreciativeness or a culture of appreciative is like, it's one thing to just think, oh, I just appreciate my partner so much. I love my husband so much. I love my girlfriend so much. But like, am I being actionable on my appreciation for my husband, my partner, whatever it is? So, I love my husband, Jeff, and I have really started, I feel like I'm always a very verbal communicator. That's a whole nother episode. I think I'm a better communicator than I am because I'm so verbal. But that aside, I will say one of my love languages is verbal appreciation. So, I'm generally pretty good about letting him know that I'm appreciative. But especially in this quarantine, hashtag quarantine life, COVID-19 experience we're having, it's so important for me to be verbal about my affirmation for him, my appreciation for him, and how much I appreciate all that he does for our family. So I've been extra conscientious about making sure I verbalize the thoughts that I have about my gratitude for him. And one of the ways that Esther Perel couched this was that, the difficult conversations you have to have are easier to have when your partner knows that you appreciate them. Oh, hey, Gabe. So it's so much easier for Jeff and I to talk about like loading the dishwasher correctly when he knows that I love the way that he nests in our house, that he's prepared our home for this. For months now, he's been preparing our home to make sure that all of our rooms are usable and like cozy. And, for me, I'm like, I never ever really settled in anywhere. Nesting is like not my thing. So if it were me living in this house, it'd be like a mattress on a box spring on the floor, but I'm so grateful that he has this intuition and this like need around nesting because it makes our home so much more enjoyable. And I'm really grateful for it right now since we're spending so much time at home. Anyway, him knowing that I have that gratitude for him makes it easier when I come to him and say, you loaded the dishwasher wrong. Or he comes to me and says, you loaded the dishwasher wrong. And I know that he appreciates me for the stuff that I bring to our relationship too. So it's a real quick one tonight, but the two topics for this evening were closure and a context of appreciation in your relationship. I'm so thrilled that you spent 15, who knows how many minutes. I literally have no idea, but I think it was about 10 minutes. I'm so grateful that you spent it with me tonight. You can always check out other Love Line at Night episodes on my IGTV. On Instagram, I'm at honeybee52. You can check out my website, HeidiBcoaching.com, and you can also catch me on the Relationship Ready podcast with Heidi B, which streams on Apple, Spotify, Google Play Music, whatever, where they all stream. And I can't wait to check in with you again next week. Until then, hey Zikra, have a great evening, and let's just keep sheltering in place and staying at home till the next thing happens. All right, XOXO to the max.